I thought.
Yes, Your Honor, I am here.
There you are. So a number of things have been submitted on behalf of Mr. Kuenstler. I have not seen them because I think they were just submitted today. And they weren't in the file when I reviewed this file late last week. So I guess, and Ms. Cruz said she's ready to go here today. Do you want to, we can do one of two things here. We can go ahead with a hearing, or I'll give you a chance to, it's only fair you should look at it, and we can be back here. You submitted some declarations also. Is that correct there, Mrs. Cruz?
Yes, Your Honor. And
I haven't seen any of those. So go ahead, Mr. Graham. What say you? I think it'd be pretty important for you to see these things. I can check and look and see how busy we are next week or the week after.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I know that this takes time for all of us. As far as
don't worry about my time. I mean, I'm going to be here anyway. So I just want to make sure you get a fair hearing. I want you to be able to see what's being submitted here, and you have a chance to respond.
Yeah, I guess this is your court, and I'm not sure whether or not you're willing to rule on the evidence that's already been provided that you have seen.
Well, no, I'm going to have to look at this new stuff. I mean, I'm going to be fair to everyone. Okay. I'm going to listen to everyone's. I mean, there's two sides to every story. I can't decide a case just on one side.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess then it would appear then you have not also been able to review that. So I don't know how you will be able to move forward today, I guess.
That's my point.
Yeah. Okay.
What's next week look like? Yeah, we'll go 2 weeks. What's 2 weeks look like? So we're going to do this. Was a temporary was entered. Mm-hmm. So we're going to reschedule this for 2 weeks. Okay. And then Mr. Kuenstler, can you come on the Zoom call, please? Activate your camera.
Hello.
And Your Honor, I've got one quick question. Is there no room for the 21st? I'm flying on the 28th. I can try to see if I can make it work. But if the 21st,
yeah, it's pretty full. How about the there's like 20 cases on right now.
So I will make the 28th work.
Was the 28th better than the 21st? Oh, I see. Oh, the 28th is the problem. I would meant the next week. How about then November 4th was what I really meant to say.
Your Honor, I would prefer not to push it out that far. I can try to make the 28th work if possible. I'm also flying on the 4th. I will be gone for a week, and those are the 2 days I fly, but I would rather make the 28th work.
What time's your flight?
It is in the afternoon. I'll have to be at the airport in the morning, but I'm gonna make it work, whether it's me or.
Well, you can remind me. It'll be the 28th. I'll be the judge again. Remind me. We could take your case first.
Okay, great. That would be great. Thank you.
So the no contact orders were still in place. We'll be back here on the 28th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So hold on just for a second. And then Ms. Cruz, Mr. Kuenstler, is he on the Zoom call with you?
She is.
Okay. Right, yeah, I want him to come on the Zoom call also, please.
Right.
Okay. Give me just a second. So, Mr. Graham, you're here without an attorney. In a second, I'm going to swear you in. I'll hear from you as to why you think you need an order against Mr. Kuenstler. Ms. Cruz, who's here on behalf of Mr. Kuenstler, she has the right to cross-examine you. She may have some questions for you. She may not. And then I'll hear from Mr. Kuenstler, and then I'll make a decision going forward. Folks have filed some declarations in this case as well, which I've reviewed. And did you see any of those there, Mr. Graham?
Yeah, I have.
Great. And so, Mr. Graham, could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. And then how is it you need an order against Mr. Kuenstler?
Yeah, I would just say, Your Honor, I appreciate, thanks for having me. I carefully reviewed the additional material that was submitted. I know that the statements are certified with the party declaring under penalty of perjury their claims are true and correct. However, I must address the inaccuracies and outright falsehoods present in Ms. Graham's statements. I have evidence that directly contradicts her claims and witnesses who can attest to the truth.
Okay, do you have witnesses? Do you have witnesses you want to call? Are they on the Zoom call, or did you file anything?
Your Honor, I've been in the course of purchasing and selling a home over the last week, and it was yesterday afternoon that I actually took the moment to be able to review this information. And currently, I did not want to bring in any witnesses if that's not needed. I believe that I'd like to be able to
just go ahead and tell me then what again, I'm going to hear from him in a minute. And this seems to apparently involve a dog and looking after a dog. And apparently there's some childcare issues there as well, as far as I can tell, unless I'm wrong about some things. Childcare may not be exactly the term to be used, but and some miscommunication about when all that was going to be picked up. And again, correct me at any time. Jump me in from any party can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But I saw the video that you had submitted, and then I read the explanation about that from the Kuenstler and Danielle Graham side. So I guess, where are we at?
I guess at this time, I would like to, if I could kind of work through my, I guess my statement, and then make a.
Yes, go ahead. Take it from the top.
I suppose so. I just want to share that it's disheartening to confront statements clearly intended to defame me. The truth remains, regardless of how often the lie is repeated. Rather than expending energy on disproving decades of falsehoods, I wish to focus on the specific incident at hand. On the night in question, Mr. Kuenstler arrived at my home around 2:30 a.m. in a threatening manner and attempted to break in. I have submitted substantial video evidence and a police incident report supporting my request for an anti-harassment order. This evidence reveals the inconsistency of the respondent's statements. A quick review of Ms. Graham's claims shows numerous inaccuracies and contradictions. For instance, she states that they were bringing our son, John, for a transfer, only to later claim there was no plan for that transfer. Additionally, Ms. Graham describes Mr. Kuenstler as having a calm demeanor, yet he had ample time to calm himself during his journey to my home and upon his arrival. The video evidence contradicts this portrayal. He approached my door without knocking or ringing the doorbell, attempting to gain entry. He even tried to open my back door after pacing around my property. Moreover, despite claiming he would be patient and tolerant, non-reactive, and slow to anger, Mr. Kuenstler displayed aggression, directly confronting my Ring camera and verbally assaulting me. This behavior demonstrates a concerning lack of self-control. The video evidence and police report clearly show that Mr. Kuenstler attempted to force entry and break into my home. Mr. Kuenstler admitted to the police that he was searching for a spare key and trying to gain interest and access through various points around my home. This aggression was exhibited under the assumption that I might be inside, as evidenced in both Ms. Graham and Mr. Kuenstler's statements that they believed I would be home to meet them within 15 minutes, which amplifies the seriousness of his actions. Since this incident, I have felt unsettled, struggling to sleep, and constantly checking my doors and windows for security. In light of these facts, I believe the intent of the law for course of conduct and single act of violence have both been met, and I respectfully request that the court grant my petition for an anti-harassment order to protect my safety and well-being. I appreciate your time, Your Honor.
Ms. Cruz, do you have any questions you wish to ask Mr. Graham?
I do. Your Honor, I know you mentioned a video that was uploaded, and petitioner mentioned a police report and mentioned some things that were included in a police report. I have never been sent anything from Mr. Graham or served with anything.
No, it's been in the file. It was
Okay.
filed, so it was in the court file.
Okay. My next question, he mentioned there was no plan. There was a plan to transfer the dog, and that was an inconsistency in Ms. Graham's statement. Can I ask what that plan was?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
You stated there were some inconsistencies in Danielle's statement. You stated that one of the inconsistencies was that there was a plan actually to transfer the dog. What was the plan?
I guess there was no plan. This is something that what I'm stating is that there are false accusations that are made in that statement that are not correct, and I'm not going to sit here and try and work through each one of those individually. The reality is what occurred. It's pretty plain, and it's on camera. The evidence is right there.
So Mr. Graham, we're in court about the inconsistency. So we're actually in court about the facts, about what happened. So I am going to get into it. I would like to know if you're stating that, so are you agreeing that there was no plan to exchange the dog now?
The only plan was the one that was that they would come back at some point. The real issue at hand is the fact that my son was with them, and at some point we would be transferring my son along with their dog. And so there was no actual time that was set, as was evidenced in some of the exhibits that were provided. There was an email, or sorry, a text exchange that that I was willing to transfer the dog in the morning at 10 o'clock at an appropriate time. To come over at my residence at 2:30 in the morning is certainly not a plan.
Okay. Did you have a phone conversation with Danielle in the car when they got back from their trip that night?
I did not put it in my car.
When Dayton and Danielle were in their car after they landed from getting back from Hawaii, did you have a phone conversation with Danielle?
As far as I know, they were not in the car when I had a phone
Okay,
call.
it doesn't matter where they were. Did you have a phone conversation with Danielle that night?
So after receiving a couple phone calls in the morning, I think there were I was concerned that that might be cause for an emergency, and so I answered the phone because I was concerned something might be happening with my son.
Okay. And when they asked to come get their dog, did you laugh and say no?
Absolutely not. What I said was that the dog was okay. In fact, they even state that I had seen the dog within the last hour. The dog was at my residence. I was preparing for my son's birthday table, his birthday chair, because it was around his birthday. So I was expecting for him to be able to come back to my home and be able to be surprised by his own birthday chair. And so my whole focus was on my boys, and the care of the dog was just fine. Totally inappropriate for anybody to come over at anybody's home at 2:30 in the morning, especially when I had explicitly stated I was not home.
Okay. And the dog, you stated in your petition that it is a family dog. Have you provided any care for this dog other than watching the dog this one time?
When I am saying that is a family dog, I don't know what that has relevance in this case. The fact is that I was saying that it's their family dog, okay? And I was watching their family dog with my older son. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing behind calling it a family dog or whose dog it is. I'm not sure what relevance that even has to this.
Okay, Your Honor, I don't have any more questions. I'm ready to make my argument.
You wish to have Mr. Kuenstler testify?
Your Honor, I think that everything, I mean, really, if I did, we would just be probably rehashing his declaration.
Okay.
So I'm ready for
Okay.
my argument.
I have some questions from Mr. Graham. How old are your kids?
My oldest is 15 and my youngest is 13.
And which one was with you when all this went down?
My oldest son, well, no, he was not. My oldest son was spending the night at a friend's.
I see. And then, and the mother of your children is currently dating Mr. Kuenstler. Is that also correct?
That's correct.
And then, how have things gone up until this?
Between Mr. Kuenstler and myself.
Yeah, and you and I don't know whether she was your wife or girlfriend or what have you, but I mean, a
Right.
blended situation. But I mean, and kids have been going back and forth. I mean, how have things been going? Again, leaving this aside, how have things gone up until this?
Currently, my 15-year-old son since May has been living with me full time.
Okay, no, but no, that's not my question. My question is, again, has there been anything leading up to all this, or have you been having a cordial a relationship with both your children and your ex-partner, and
I have a great relationship with my children. My former spouse and I wouldn't say it's that great.
Okay, well, a lot of times it's not, but okay. Here's what's going to happen, Mr. Graham. I'm going to hear from Ms. Cruz, and then chance. I'll give you a chance to respond, and then I'll make a decision.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So the situation that we have here, Your Honor, is that my client and his significant other were returning from vacation. They wanted their dog back. Mr. Graham was awake. There was a phone conversation that put both of them, made them both very, very uneased. The information that they kind of picked up from the phone conversation was that Mr. Graham was not home. He had not been home for a while. Mr. Graham knows that this dog is very important to the two of them. And Mr. Graham was making a joke out of this. He was laughing. He was not taking it seriously. I think the situation wouldn't have been so dire had he let them know, yes, the pet was taken care of. Everything is good. I'm good to transfer in the morning. But instead, that was not what was communicated to them, and that was not the mood of the call. And so when Mr. Graham hung up, they were like, okay, we would like to come get our pet. And then Mr. Graham, despite just having communication with them, started to ignore them. Despite that, I would like to look at, even if everything in the petition is true, it does not meet the burden of unlawful harassment. First, there's no course of conduct. So, series of acts over a period of time with an ongoing purpose. There is no proof that my client and the petitioner haven't really ever had too much communication. Even during the incident, they didn't even have communication. There was no communication between them really through calls, texts, no in person, no notes left, nothing on social media. There had really been no communication at all between the two of them. Most of the communication had went between Mr. Graham and Danielle, or my client's significant other. So we have no pattern of contact. It's just this one singular incident. Now, if we're looking at a one singular incident, the other definition is a single act or threat of violence. Well, this is not a violent incident. There's no violence included. There was no fight. There was nothing like that. There was no damage, nothing. And it's really the definition goes on, that is intended or directed to alarm, annoy, harass, and serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. Again, doesn't fit that at all. It was attempted, the incident was a direct attempt to get the dog back, not an attempt to alarm, not an attempt to annoy, not harassing, and it actually does serve a legitimate and a lawful purpose. So even if what is in the petition is true, it does not fit the definition at all. Mr. Graham has stated he's already made a police report. If he feels that that's the best route to take for this incident, then it is. But, Your Honor, it is not. It does not fit the definition before this court. So we are asking, Your Honor, to dismiss the petition as it does not fit the definition. Thank you.
And Mr. Graham, I'll give you the final word here.
thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to just state that at no time was there any. I don't quite understand at what point Ms. Graham and Mr. Kuenstler were believed that their dog was in any dire situation. The dog had been under my care, older son's care, for the last week, 7 days. The dog was just fine. I had stated even over that phone call that the dog was okay. Because of it became heated. It expressed that I wasn't at home. I let them know. And I had another person witness at the moment too. But I shared that it wasn't an appropriate time. It was early in the morning. For whatever reason, they believed the dog was going to be there 10 plus hours. There's no indication. I don't know why they would either thought that. The dog was fine. And I just, when it comes to what I believe is a course of conduct and a series of acts, it doesn't matter how short of time. And there were multiple acts within the time that Mr. Kuenstler was on the property for the 5 minutes, attempting to come into my home. And it's just, to me, it was coming up to the Ring camera and the cutscene, the statements he made are the violence. They are a result of physical and psychological concern, and even the physical assault on my property. And so the reason that I filed this, I don't take this lightly. This is not me. I've never come and filed an anti-harassment order in my life. This is not something that I take lightly. It's not something that I seek. It's not. But when I went and I looked into the police report and contacted the prosecuting attorney at Olympia and asked them what was the course of action and how long would it take, they told me there was no deadline to be able to review that case and file anything forward and proceed. Really, my only course of action at that time, in my understanding, to do this in the interim of whatever was going to happen with the trespass case. And so that's why, and through talking to other folks at the court and speaking to a lawyer and being told that I could file this on my own, that's what I did. And that's why I'm here today. It's not something that I would necessarily, it's not something I would want, but I definitely do not want Mr. Kuenstler on my property. I don't appreciate it. And as far as I know, since this incident, he has not been on my property. There have been transfers where my youngest son is able to be picked up at school from school. That's fine. I think that's an appropriate way to proceed. But that's my case.
Well, here's where I'm at there, Mr. Graham. I agree with a lot of what you say in terms of how inappropriate it is for anyone to show up at 2:30 and conduct himself in the manner that Mr. Kuenstler did. I don't have any disagreement with that. I do go back to the definition of harassment. It's a willful course of conduct, and then the course of conduct is a series of acts of a period of time, however short. And one thing I do disagree with you on is you said, well, there were several acts during that 5-minute period that he was on the premises. I look at that all as a single act. And then the single act of violence or threat of violence, that actually, people didn't go all the way on that definition. One of two things needs to be present in order for a single act to be appropriate to enter an order. A single threat or violence must include either a malicious intentional threat as described in RCW RA 36080, which is basically a hate crime, or the presence of a firearm. So in order for a single act to be appropriate for a no contact order, it has to be a hate crime of some sort, which this is not, or there's the presence of firearm, which this is also not. But at the same, having said that, yeah, I think that Mr. Kuenstler could have handled this a lot better. I suspect in the future he will. And so based on the evidence that's been presented both in court as well as in the file, I'm not going to find that a pattern exists. If he's back there, then that's a second act, then it becomes a pattern. Do you understand that, Mr. Kuenstler?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that as well, Mr. Graham?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Arnold.
And so I think it'd probably be a good idea for you folks to, whoever can communicate with Mr. Graham, whether that's Ms. Graham, Mr. Kuenstler, you should probably, talk and work this out. I look at this as kind of a miscommunication between the parties that Mr. Kuenstler handled in an inappropriate way, which I completely agree with Mr. Graham on that. But again, at this time, I don't think it rises to the level of harassment, so I'm not going to enter an order at this time. But again, if there's any other problems, Mr. Kuenstler, you need to think about how you conduct yourself before you jump off the deep end of the pool, so to speak. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
And that'll conclude the hearing for today. You can get a copy of the denial order off the district court website. All three of you are free to leave the Zoom call.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you. So, Mr. Martinez, could you raise your right hand?
Yes, sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Put your hand down. You were in court, I think, when I earlier read the definition of harassment, which I can read again.
Correct.
It's a pattern over a series of acts over a period of time. And so you've asked for an order. A temporary was not entered, but how is it you need an order against Ms. Neer?
Correct.
Go ahead.
I just want to order for her not to deliver mail or send me mail, and I guess just not be weird across the fence.
What happened? I can't just,
So
as you've seen, I can't just enter these orders.
you have the letter I presented to you last time.
Mhm. And I was the judge when he says last time, I was the judge that heard a request for a temporary, and I do remember it. Go ahead.
So in the letter it states, if I trespass, she will use lethal force or have me arrested. I was also waiting on a call or a visit from a brother who's a former police officer, never received that, and the number isn't listed as well. And I guess you're the brother who's an attorney who's going to write me a formal letter. I also didn't receive anything. So the reason for the visit initially started about events. I think that's when the disagreement started. But the last event was I had Amazon packages delivered to her house, and they send you a picture of the door. So
Right.
I knew it was obviously her house. So I went the next day because I got the photo late and I didn't want to show up to her house late. So I went the next day, knocked on her door. There was no answer. And then I happened to see her outside and I asked her if she had received my packages, where she said no. And then the very next day I had the letter sent to me, which I presented to you. And I just want all this to stop. I don't want to continue this kind of behavior. I'm not home a lot doing my job. So my wife is home alone and I just feel uncomfortable if there's more passings like
So
this.
you said something to me. You said this is about a fence. What do you mean by that?
So initially
that.
it started, I moved in, the fence has a lot of rotting and the trees are coming onto my side.
Right.
And my dog hopped over and I saw him hop over a few times. So I put a mesh. She drove by a few times and just never stopped. She sent her nephew over. I showed the nephew what I was doing. And then when I was finished, I went to her house to see like, hey, like come look at what I did. Her nephew came out, she did not, showed her the fence, and then some of the fence is still falling over. So I stopped restraining the fence. I like gave up on that. And I started putting the logs on her side so she can see that I'm not stealing the railroad ties. So officer came by and I talked to the officer. She said that I was vandalizing her property, and he said, these are obviously rotten. Like I don't need to be here. So I talked to the same officer. He said, just kind of stay away.
Okay.
So I would like her if she would trim the trees and I guess give me permission to build a fence so we don't see each other. I've seen her staring down to my side. I moved all my patio stuff to the front just to not be there.
All right. Let me hear from Ms. Neer. And then I hear her. You're an attorney, sir?
I am.
Okay, but are you her attorney here for here? Okay, all right. What state do you practice in? Did you come here just for this? Okay. Ms. Neer, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. So what's your position on all of this?
First, according to the petition, Mr. Martinez does not mention any ongoing harassment. So from what I can tell, that doesn't fall into the definition as you have told us at the beginning of the hearing, that it has to be continual reoccurring behavior. The only thing that Martinez has said in his petition is that he received a package from Amazon. He thinks it was a picture of my porch, though he's never declared he's been on my porch. He never spoke to me, and for no reason, I sent him a letter stating that he should never come on my property again. As far as I can tell, that letter, I had not seen that letter before. There are other people who live at my residence.
But did you write, there's a letter that said, I'll just read it here for you, your neighbor.
Your neighbor, I didn't, my
Hang on just a
sister.
second, just let me hear me out here for a second. It says the Martinez household is not welcome on my property. If you come on my property again, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. If you think you're here, if I think you're here to endanger my life, I don't know why anyone would think that based on what I've heard, I will protect myself using lethal force. Are you telling me you did not write that?
I did not write that.
Okay, do you have any idea who did?
My sister stays at the property, so she was there a little while ago. I don't know what happened.
Well, do you see how that letter might be for someone who maybe he had the wrong house, but was just trying to get his Amazon packages, as next door neighbors do from time to time, and to receive a letter like that? Do you think how that might be a little upsetting?
Well,
Set the definition. I'm well aware of the definition of harassment, but I mean,
if his story was accurate and for no reason.
okay, that's what I'm asking you. I
Okay,
want to know what your story is, so
Okay,
then
my
I get to decide, you know, what's what.
Mr. Martinez, we've had great relationships. My mother lived there for 30 years. We built that home. Our family has had great relationships with the neighbors next door. Mr. Martinez and his wife moved in December, and they have a dog that started barking. It was bothering the other neighbors who were yelling at him to please have the dog stop barking. And
I've had petitions over that too, ma'am.
it's a lot. June 19th, I reported his dog for barking. July 17th is when Mr. Martinez started complaining about the retaining wall. It wasn't an issue before he received a letter from Animal Services, as far as I can tell, because he hadn't approached me prior to that letter being sent to him from Animal Services. So at the same, a week after he received that letter, he decided then that this retaining wall was an issue for him. And
Maybe he thought the retaining wall would be a means of controlling the dog, so to help out with the complaints made by neighbors. But you may continue. Somebody complains about a dog, isn't it normal for someone to like, oh gosh, yeah, I better do something to take care of this dog, and maybe getting a better fenced or area for the dog would maybe address some of the barking, which is just a possibility. I don't know. I'm not out there.
suppose, I mean, that does make some logical sense, I
Okay, thank you.
suppose, that
You may continue.
that could be what happened. There was some really loud banging, like, I don't know, sounded like some kind of construction wall was hitting the wall. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I don't want to confront someone who's, in my perception, so angry about having his dog reported that he's now don't know what he's doing. So I had my nephew come over.
Right.
And my nephew talked to him in his yard. And he told my nephew that he was building a 3-inch high wall to keep his dog in, when this retaining wall is another 3 feet higher. But I was fine. That's fine. He can do whatever he wants. And my nephew came back, reported that to me. Mr. Martinez then came back onto the property and wanted to speak. I wasn't a part of the conversation. I'm not going to have a confrontation with this man. And my nephew spoke with him again. And my nephew said that he was angry. He was talking about who's the owner of the house. He wants to talk to the owner of the house. Where's the owner of the house? And he told my nephew that he was having trouble with the retaining wall. And from my recollection, he showed my nephew he had a screwdriver in his hand and was punching holes through the wall. So that is my perception of who this man is.
So do you live there? Who lives there?
I do live there.
Okay. And did you say your sister lives there
She
too?
sometimes comes and stays.
Okay. And you have
And
no idea,
my-
and that is the address? There's this address, it's on Kingsway Southeast. That is your address?
That is my address.
You have no idea who sent this letter?
I'm thinking it's my sister.
Okay, well, that's the one sibling, your brother's behind you. Your sister's, I think that's, you said it's your
That
brother.
is my brother. I
Yeah.
have 5 siblings.
Okay.
2 are passed away. The one who built the retaining wall, he died at 44.
Right.
The other brother has passed away too.
I'll
So
give you
I
a
do have
chance.
So then, after this conversation with my nephew, Mr. Martinez was concerned about the retaining wall. And so I called my other brother to come down, take a look. What do you think? What should we do? And that brother thought that this retaining wall had about another 10 years of life. So I did my due diligence based on this complaint. And then on August 24th, Mr. Martinez blocked my driveway with his truck while I was pulling out of the garage and screaming, hey, hey. Again, I don't want confrontation. I have a chronic illness. I take chemotherapy. I'm very tired. It's hard for me to even work a full-time job. So I pulled back in the garage. Mr. Martinez got back out of his car, came to my door, and just sat there ringing the doorbell 5 times. So I called the police because obviously I don't want to speak to the man for whatever reason, and 5 times is excessive. After that, on August 25th, I then went in my backyard when Mr. Martinez, it's a retaining wall with a hedge that's probably about 20 feet high. Mr. Martinez claims that I was staring into his back. There's no way for me to even see in his backyard because there's a hedge in my backyard. And Mr. Martinez comes out and he's going, hey, hey, I wanted to talk to you. Okay, what do you want to talk to me about? Hey, something about the retaining wall. I go, my brother went out, he looked at it, has 10 years left. And he goes, well, you can have a person come out and look at it. Like, okay, I actually was just going outside to get something and go back in. And then he goes, well, I can sue you. I'm going to sue you. If it falls on my dog or my children, I'm going to sue you. Like, okay, I'll tell my 2 brothers that you are going to sue us. And I did. Then on, that was on August 25th, he's talking to me in his backyard. I've tried to have absolutely no conversations. And at that time I told him, don't communicate with me anymore. Do it in writing. I don't need any more of this, confrontations with you. On September 2nd, Martinez tore off the first railroad tie on the retaining wall. And I rode through it on my property because he carried it over onto my property and set it there. I called the police, filed a report. I have that report request coming. It takes them 5 days to get the report. I don't have it on me. So that was September 2nd. I spoke with Officer Watkins about vandalism. When Watkins went over to talk with Martinez, he wasn't home. So Watkins did not speak to Martinez at that point in time. September 15th, Martinez tore the second railroad tie off and trespassed Officer Watkins. Watkins refused to come out. He said it was just a continuance of what I had reported with. Oops, I made a mistake on that of what on 9th September 2nd, it was Watkins, 9:15, it was Wilson.
Okay,
He
so
just-
ma'am, hang on just a second. None of that matters.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't. Your brother behind you, I thought I heard him say, were you going to be a witness? Okay, I can swear you in. I'll hear from what you have to say about this.
Move it along a little bit. It is simply bragging, but go ahead.
What's that?
seems like it's dragging. I could move it along a little bit to
Okay,
more relevant.
you raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm the information testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
When you say it was dragging, who were you talking about?
my sister. And that's why I'm here, to help things move along, because
Go ahead.
I do a lot of this where I'm from. So, and I was a judge for a while. So I'd heard about the argument about the dog. And so I'm hearing this from my sister. There's something going on with the new neighbor. I'm kind of letting it pass over. And then I get a call from my 16-year-old nephew. He's the son of our younger dead brother, saying, hey, this guy was mad and he wants to talk to the owner. The wall's falling down. So I send down my other local brother, who's brother in 1994. It's just a 4-tier railway tie, 40 inches tall. We built it. We put rebar down on it. My younger brother came and looked and he says, looks up on Labor Day, September 2nd, just to look at the wall to see if I'm going to have to hire somebody to the estate to fix the wall, to build a fence. I can't put a fence on top of it because it'll be too high. It'll be a 10 feet high on his side. I look at the wall. It looks fine to me. I walk the whole length of it. It's fine. While I'm done walking it, Mr. Martinez comes out to the property and he says something like, it's falling apart, carries it over while I'm standing by the back deck and tosses it up toward me onto the property. So I tell my sister, it's like, well, you should probably report it that he took down the wall. I've got to go. So then see if that wall, but then I hear on the 15th, he did it again. My sister finds another log. Nobody sees him. He's taken a second log out. So then I wrote him a letter telling him who I was, that I'm the owner of the property. He's not allowed to come on the property anymore. And if they do, I'll report him for trespassing.
Was that you who wrote the letter?
I wrote a letter to him September 17th. And at the end it says I told him that
There's a letter from September 27th called Your Neighbor.
right. Who wrote this September 27th letter? Yeah, I did.
The lethal force.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you?
No.
Okay.
No, he said, do I know who it was? I do know who it was.
Yeah, who was it?
My older sister.
What'd you do that for?
Why did she do it?
It seems to me like, okay, there's an issue over the fence, and I've not seen the wall, and what do I know about retaining walls? Not much, but I'll give you a chance when they're done. You can respond to all this. But lethal force seems to be a bit of a gross overreaction to over a disagreement about a fence when some guy goes on to basically looking for his Amazon packages.
Right. So that's where I was trying. I took a little time moving up to the relevant part that got to the concern. So after the letter comes to him, certified and direct mail, doesn't pick up the certified, but then he stops coming on the property after my letter because they're telling him he can't. Talks to my sister in the street about the package. And then the next night when she says, I don't have the package, he comes onto the property 11:45 at night, comes around the back side of the property, the back porch, is trying to get into the cat door, somehow unlock the screen door. It's closed where you can, that's how I get in when I get locked out. I can get through the cat door and click the lock on the sliding door. And then when that doesn't work, he starts banging on the window. Apparently just to scare my sister at night. Yeah. Just to scare my sister to death. And that's where the other sister hears this and writes that letter. Her younger sister. She's not capable of writing that letter. She couldn't do that letter. She contacted me to write the letter to him to stay off the property.
How is she not capable?
She's just not, it's not her skill set. If she was to write that letter, it would be like, I'm trying to write it, send it to me. I have to look at it, to send it back.
I made it. People, you said you have experience in this. You know, I've seen all kinds of letters written by people, you know, better and worse written than this. And so I don't understand when you say she can't write that letter. Why not?
Yeah,
you're gonna have to explain that.
Yeah. So our relationship. Our dad died when she was 10. I was 2020, our mom of 6 children was the stay-at-home mom. I left and raised my younger sister, younger brother. I've been the parent for them. I've been through the issues of where she's had some mental breakdowns and some abilities. She's been married, divorced. So I've been her support person for.
Hang on just a second. So I think I have an idea of, so I'm going to move it along. I think I kind of have an idea about the fence and all of that and the incidents. Mr. Martinez has been there, very patient. And so I'm going to have, and a lot of things have been said about him. And I'm going to allow him to respond. So go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
So that was all lie. I've never stepped foot other than her front door where I rang her doorbell.
Okay.
Never blocked her driveway. I saw her outside and I did say, hey, I want to talk about the fence. She went inside, closed the garage. I knocked. I said, hey, I will go. I was willing to go half and half. I talked to the HOA. I said, you can go half and half or just build a fence. I was like, hey, I'm going to build a fence. I want.
And the retaining walls is that on the line or is that on her property?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
you know. Do you know? And that's
So-
just,
You know, it's on our property.
it's on their property.
Like,
Your property. Okay. Was it your
But
property or
it's-
the estate's property?
it's the state's
Okay,
property.
thank you.
Sorry.
So hang on just a second.
But
So,
on means like probably back 6 inches.
right, but
So-
my point is he can build a fence that runs down his property and not have to interfere with that retaining wall. So hang on, just that's my question. Go ahead.
I
You can
wanted
continue.
to say, hey, will you trim your trees so I can build a fence? And I've never gone in their backyard, tried to break in. I've never got his letter. I only received one letter. If not, I would have showed it to you, both letters. Yeah, those are all lies. I'm sorry.
And then this thing about
One more
coming
thing.
on the property at 11:45 at night. Tell me about that.
That was not a thing. The banging was me trying to dig stakes to hold it. And it's not they're just tension wires.
All right.
So, and I did not, the screwdriver thing was total lie. I reinforced it with screws to hold it up. When the stakes, the railroad ties did fall over, I didn't throw them in her property. I slid them just enough to where she saw them.
So
Yeah, I don't ever break in. That's euthanasia. I don't want to break in anybody's home. I think your sister is a little mentally unstable, and I think you should check on her more often.
give me just a second. So here's where I'm at. Going back to the definition. And I think it's possible that we had a conversation about this, Mr. Martinez, when you were here earlier. Unlawful harassment. And actually, let me back up for a second. Were you this 11:45 at night incident? Were you there when this happened, or were you just told about it?
That's
Okay.
some of what I said.
So action which seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. Of course, the conduct must be such as would cause a reasonable person to suffer substantial emotional distress and must actually cause distress to the petitioner. And then a course of conduct is a series of acts over a period of time, however short, evidencing continuity of purpose. So, you know, and when and your last name is Neer also?
It is.
Mr. Neer and Ms. Neer, and this, you know, your case, what went on out there, you know, of ability, who to believe, who to not believe. And in this particular case, with regard to the incidents in this case, actually pretty credible about what went on out there. But, you know, in terms of, you know, that letter, again, it's signed, it's anonymous, whether, you know, I have a number of siblings as well, and you know, it appears that that's being blamed on a missing sibling here. But that's the only, you know, incident which of any sort of concern. All the other stuff as to whether or not a fence can be built or not, or whether you're willing to fence issue. He just said right here, he's willing to split costs and put up a fence, which would leave a retaining wall for you to deal with on your side of the fence, which seems to me very reasonable. And if someone goes just looking for their, I frankly, the incident that was alleged to have occurred at 11:45, I don't find that.
I have a picture.
Frankly, okay, I don't, ma'am, I'm just gonna stop you.
Sorry.
And so, but having said that, this isn't a series of acts which rises to the level of an order for harassment yet. And so I'm not going to enter an order because I tend to agree with you, ma'am, that the pattern hasn't been developed yet. But again, Mr. Martinez just strikes me as a guy who wants to put in a fence for his dog where his dog can be kept in and not bother the neighbors. And I think that the reaction to that from you and maybe your sister has been disproportionate to what actually is going on out there. It hasn't, yet risen to the level of harassment, but if it continues, then it probably will, and there probably will be an order. And so I don't know, maybe you're better off communicating with him if you want to get something. I saw you nodding when he was talking about putting up a fence and stuff like that. I don't know why you folks don't want to talk about that instead of resorting to things like lethal force and all that sort of stuff.
I can explain, but I know.
Well, I don't think.
I don't think you want to. I've tried to call Ms. Martinez about 25 times. Apparently my number is blocked because I've talked out it through to his wife once, so they know the number, and she hung up, and then it just goes to voicemail.
Mr. Martinez, what say you to that?
I've never gotten a phone call. I'm on my way.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do here for today. But so, ma'am, do you understand where I'm at here?
I do, Your Honor. It sounds like Mr. Martinez should not be communicating, screaming at me in the backyard, blocking. He's going to speak with my brother.
You're not. You're not. That tells me you're not understanding.
Oh, that it's not right. It hasn't risen to the occasion yet. I'm asking you to kind of look inward and think, how are we going to conduct ourselves? Were you going to conduct yourself out there? I'm going to continue to stay on my property, continue to not speak with Martinez.
Okay.
And live at my home without anyone interfering with my peace. I haven't tried to contact Martinez in any way.
Well, that letter is a mystery to me. You strike me as capable, being someone capable of sending it, and apparently this is property that's in an estate where, I don't know what the will says. Eventually, it's going to get distributed somewhere. Whether it's whether everybody shares it, or it's going to have to be sold, or people are going to have to buy each other out. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But
well, the background is when we moved my sister.
I don't need to know any of that.
But yes, I will not at all contact Mr. Martinez in any fashion. Any communication can be done through my brother.
Here's the other thing I want to tell you, and normally I'm not in the advice giving business, but if and I'm going to tell you this so you don't have an adverse reaction if and when this happens. But if a tree's on your property and the branches overhang, he can cut them. And I've dealt with it as recently as last week, anti-harassment orders where people cut branches and they get upset with the neighbors and stuff like that. So he can cut them. I assume that's the same in California. I don't know, but so you need to be aware of that.
That's fine.
And I'm telling you that also. You can't trespass on the other person's property to do that. Most neighbors work together to work all that out. I don't have a whole lot of hope for this situation, but I don't understand why you two can't talk to, and again, I don't know what's going on here. And I don't know whether you have the wrong number for Mr. Martinez, but
Oh, yeah, that's clear. I put my investigators on it. We've tried to do his command force. What I thought was the right number. I could be completely
yeah,
wrong.
you could be.
I did reach the pipe, but it got nothing through as I'm down near next door click. So maybe it was just a wrong number.
The other thing is too, you know, we all do on the cell phone. We get numbers from all kinds of people at all times. People wanting money for various and opposing political places. You know, again, it pops up on my phone. It might be a scam alert. It's entirely reasonable. Also, somebody called you 25 times from the same number. I'm probably going to block that person when I don't know who it is. So, and he also tells me he never got a letter, which I have no reason to doubt that. So, what I'm getting at, ma'am, I'm not in an order here today, but it's not really a clear-cut case. You need to figure out how to conduct yourself out there, because if something else comes up and you can bring it back, then there might be a different result. You want
I
to
was
say
hoping
something?
through the restraining order I'd get a phone number. The number I have is.
So you're not, this is on YouTube. This is going out to the universe. We're not going to.
I'm just going to give the first digits.
No,
Is it
you're not going to
713?
give any of it.
Oh, no.
And so I asked Mr. Martinez, are you willing to talk to him? You guys can talk in the hallway if you want to. I can rely on you both to be, I hope, to be reasonable, and then you can go from there, but you don't have to if you don't want to. But that's what we're going to hear for today. And you could probably have an extended discussion with your sister as to what I mean, because I think you get it. I hope so anyway.
I do these for 30 years, Judge.
Okay, well,
Both sides. Thank you, Judge.
you can speak with him, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Yeah, thanks. So where are we at on this? Does she live in Texas?
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
Okay. And then did you get her served for this hearing? Because we were here before.
Yes,
And-
I did.
Okay.
And she told my boyfriend that she's not gonna.
She's not going to?
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay, so the temporary was entered?
I didn't get one granted.
Oh. You're seeing someone, you're dating someone. Person you're dating, that's the old girlfriend. Not sure whether they were married or not.
They weren't married. It was just-
And do they have a child together?
Yes, I do.
What's the relationship? Where's that child now?
She lives with her.
Okay,
He's deployed right now.
okay. And then is there a parenting plan or anything like that? Is she still bothering you?
So since she got served the first time, she immediately stopped. I think that's because it looks like she's gonna get in trouble.
Right.
So she stopped once I served her, but I feel like if I don't get this protection order, she's gonna keep on doing it because she got her way pretty much.
This at the hearing with her living in Texas, that doesn't really,
Yeah,
I don't know. I
plan
don't know.
on filing in Texas too.
What's that?
I plan on filing in Texas too. It's just difficult because,
You live here.
yeah, I called them and they were like, yeah, you just do that through your police station. And I was like, I don't know, I have to figure it out still. But she doesn't know that. I hate to like talk down on people, but she's kind of dumb around her. So she doesn't know that she can't, like, she can still, do the things she's doing if I have this protection order. Because she lives in a different state. But he plans on, he's gonna take her to court for custody once he's not deployed anymore.
And then when did you have her served for this hearing?
The day that you gave me.
Yeah, I don't see that. Do you have proof of that? Do you have like a document? You had a document for the earlier one.
How do I give you that? I just had him email it to her.
What's his name?
Devon White.
Did you have him put some sort of, when you do some sort of declaration that says that she was served?
Okay.
In the first one, I have someone named Lonnie Griffith.
That's probably someone in.
Yeah, served
El Paso.
male United Service. Yeah. Do you know who Lonnie Griffith is?
No, I do not, Your Honor. I think it was somebody.
Oh,
who
it's from the
worked at police
OPD.
station.
So I need to see that proof of service.
Okay.
And what we can do is we can, if she's not bothering you now, that's good. We could do this 2 weeks. And if you can show that she was served, come back and show that she was served today,
Mhm.
then we'll enter the order then.
Okay.
Served for today. You don't need to serve her for the next hearing.
So he just fills out that paperwork.
Fills out the paper that says that she was served for the hearing on today, October 28th.
Okay.
And we're gonna give you another order here right now too.
Okay.
Are you here for, what case are you here for? What day? What time are you scheduled to be here? Is this for a case?
Yeah, I was arrested.
Okay, so hang on, is this a Lacey case? Could be. So what was your name again? Yeah, you need to be in courtroom number 2. The good news is you're still early. You're supposed to be there at 11, not 10. So it's not important. Well, you're better off being early, better an hour early than an hour late, but it's right across the hallway there. So ma'am, we'll reset it when I see proof of service and we'll enter an order. But the problem is,
I hope I get it, to be honest.
what's that?
I said I can't take it anymore.
All right. Is, so Ms. Frisbee and Mr. Burke, is that you folks? Come on up and take seats. Apparently they have a witness, Ms. Marquez.
Transferred and we misread the paperwork.
Do you have stuff to,
We
when
have
was it
several,
submitted?
actually. We have videos, photos, and we've also have several.
Okay, so it's just slow down here for a minute. Has that stuff been submitted?
Unfortunately, we weren't able to submit it in.
Why not?
like
Because
I said,
I'm not gonna look at it, then the only thing we're gonna do here today is because Ms. Marquez certainly needs to see that.
Oh, yes. And if we need to put it out, we can most certainly can.
I mean, okay, so you can be Sam.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Yes, in a minute you can. So, how much stuff do you have to submit, first of all?
There's at least 2 videos, I would say 5 pictures. I've also got at least 2 health reports.
Okay, so Ms. Marquez, none of that's in the file. I have, at least it wasn't when I looked at it. And it doesn't look, I have it in front of me now, it's here. So you wanted to say something in order for me to review that, which they're gonna want.
Unfortunately, I didn't know.
You're gonna have an opportunity, you need to be an opportunity to see that also. I see also that at least Mr. Burke, I don't know whether, put your hand down. Asked for an order against you. I don't know whether Ms. Frisbee, that was apparently by a different judge.
And that did have the evidence.
Oh, the temporary grant. Oh, so yours was granted. When's that set for?
We weren't told if it was granted or not.
October. Oh, hang on just a second. Oh, no, wait a minute. My mistake. This one was granted. No, you were not. So Mr. Burke filed the order that was denied. And so that's not set for hearing.
Yes.
You wanted to say
I wanted
something,
to
Ms.
find out if
Marquez?
the lady in the courtroom is their witness, because if she is, that's Kyle's mom. And I also have a lot of messages with her for me to file a restraining order on her son and her daughter-in-law.
Okay, so I don't know that. Is that your mother?
Yes.
Okay.
And may I say something?
No, you will. Let's just, everybody will take a turn, all right? And so, you do have an order, or you wanted to? Or what exactly?
No, well, she was the one that told me to file the restraining order against those 2.
I see. Okay,
Because they keep harassing her for talking to me.
okay, all
And then
right. So, okay, hang on, you can stop there. So now, Mr. Burke,
Yes.
you wanted to say something. Now you can.
So, from what I've actually been told and what I've seen on those messages, what she is saying is completely and utterly a lie, sir.
Okay.
I've never known my mother
Okay.
to lie.
So, well, okay, hang on just a second. We're first going to figure out whether this case is even going to take place today. And then we'll remain in place. And then we'll be here in a couple of weeks. And then to determine whether or not who's telling the truth, if you've been paying attention, I have to make that determination. All that will be determined at a later time when we actually have the full hearing.
Okay.
that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, you said that you had a number of videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the
Some of it what?
original. Some of it was original with that tonight, so I did not know submit the evidence.
Okay. Have you actually been here in court and talked to the civil police?
No, I unfortunately